Okay, so that is what generative AI is. Generative AI is part of AI. It's a branch of AI which mimics human behavior, artificial intelligence, of course. It's a machine which mimics human behavior, but then it's special that it creates new content. You must have all heard about ChatGPT, right? How many of you heard about ChatGPT? How many have used it? All right, it's in my opinion, it's the most powerful tool you have laid your hands on. Okay, sometimes we get really like if I gave you Bugatti or Ferrari and you're driving it to do the grocery, it doesn't mean that you cannot do grocery and Ferrari or Bugatti cars. It just means that you are not realizing its full potential. You don't understand what it can do, and you are just driving it at 20 miles per hour or 30 miles per hour, but it can do much more than that. So if you have used ChatGPT, believe me, you can do a lot more than what you are doing already. Yeah.
So it's Chat GPT. So go to your phone, type in CHAT GPT, and it's like an app that you can use to ask questions. Chat GPT.
Chat GPT, CHAT, chat, and GPT. I'll show you. I'll demo it to you. So don't worry about it. Yeah, majority of the stuff is going to be about Chat GPT. Like I don't want to talk technical stuff. Sorry about that, guys. About the generative AI, but yeah, I'll show you examples. How can you use it? So now, how does it work? How does this, the generative AI work? So generative AI has two main, streams. One is that deals with the text, right? You type something, the Chat GPT, being an example. You ask a question, it gives you answer. Right now, that is the text part of it. They are also called large language models because they are language models. You talk to it, you type something, and it speaks to you. Its answer is like human like answers you get from it. So that is the text part of it. Then there is an image generation part as well. You ask it to create an image. You write something like build an image for me of a beautiful house with with left wall has painting of Mona Lisa and right side has a big fireplace, and we create that image for you. All you have to do is just type that what is in your mind in plain English in your language. It doesn't have to be, the grammar is not an issue. Just pour out your feelings, what you wanted to create. Write a big sentence or 5 sentences, whatever you want to write. Give a detailed description, and it will create that image for you. If it doesn't create the image exactly the way you wanted it, maybe you need to fine tune your, your question, your prompt. Whatever you're typing, whatever you're asking the large language model or the image generation tool to make, that is called a prompt. So you need to, rephrase your question, rephrase your prompt, and then it will recreate that image for you. It may do a better job next time if you try it again. So that's how you define the two streams of generative AI. One is text, one is the image part. So we are going to cover text a lot today. So now, how are we going to use generative AI in today's business? Well, the information is gold, right? Like more we know about things, more we are aware of things, more we are informed, better decisions we are able to make. So generative AI can be used to get any kind of answer for any all kind of questions you have. You sometimes are worried that generative AI may not know the answer. Yeah, sure, it does. It's most likely it does, but be careful that you need to give the references where you got the answer from. If you're not getting the references, it may be hallucination. As I said, if it doesn't know, if it has not seen that kind of text in its past, it means that it's being creative right now. It's creating answer like an artist, and that may not be the right answer for your question. So you need to be aware, that the answer is getting, does it make sense? Does it pass the smell test? Does it provide any references to the answer that it gave? If it's not giving me any links or any references, it means it could be a made-up answer. So there is, slight small thing that you need to worry about. Okay, let's move on to the next slide here. All right, how does the large language model work? So I'm going to give this rhyme as an example. Baba Black. What would you put next to it? What would be the next word? Sheep, right? And after that, so we all know, right? We all know what words come after a sequence. If I just gave you the sheep, you wouldn't have put have at the end of it. But if I gave you Baba Black Sheep, then you know what is the next word that comes up. Because sequence have certain meaning. We remember sequence, we remember patterns. That's how generative AI learns things. It remembers the sequence of words, and then it's able to predict the next word. That's what large language model is. In essence, it is nothing but basically it memorizes sequence of words that it has seen before in books or in any text that it has learned from. It has learned all the sequences, and then it knows typically what comes after this word. What comes after these? If these 5 words are in sequence, what is the next probable word that comes after it? That's what it is doing. It is generating one word after another based on what it has seen before. So what has come up before it? So it's just a sequence generator. Now, if I put the context here, I love, there could be a bunch of things that it can generate, right? I love chicken, I love talking, I love my laptop, I love coding, I love eating. How does it know which word to put next? Because it has so many possibilities, right? With these 2 word sequence, I love, it can generate a lot of things. But what if I gave it, so it can like, it has option. I love to eat tacos. I love singing. I love to play. I love coding. I love to dance. Which one would it give as an answer? That is a question, right? Like, which one would it add next to I love? So how about we provide something called context? In a conversation, if 2 people are talking and then you suddenly jump into the middle of conversation and somebody said, I love, you have no idea what they're talking about. But if they told you what they were talking from the beginning, they are talking about maybe health insurance, then you know what this sentence means, what these words they're talking about mean. So if I said I'm a foodie, now if I say I love, your obvious answer would be to eat tacos. Context is important, right? The following words start making sense when you provide some context to it. I'm a sports person. That is the context. Now, the right answer would be I love to play. I'm a dancer. I love to dance. So that's how generative AI also learns, or that's how generative AI is able to predict the next word. Given the context, what is the most probable word that should come after this sequence of words? Okay, this is all technical mumbo jumbo. I'll come to the good part very soon. Yeah, I promise. All right, so knowledge search. This is an interesting example talk about. So I have a question. I have a small business and I want to know something about a certain topic. I want to know what are the legal requirements for getting a license, or I want to open a liquor store, right? Alcohol store. What kind of city regulations are in place? What do I need to do to get this liquor license for my store? I don't know. So what do I do? I go to Google, right? I go to Google and I type, what do I need to get my liquor license certificate? So let's say this is the question. I go to a library. Before Google World, I went to a library to find a bunch of books. I read, I asked the librarian, can you help me finding the book where I can, get about all the city laws and regulations, water, how can I find answer to my question? The librarian points you to a bunch of books. These are the books, go and read these books, and you'll find your answer. This was a very tedious process. And this is what Google does. If you ask a question in Google, Google does not give you the answer most of the time. If you ask a very generic question, it may give you the answer straight away. But Google does not give you the answer. Google gives you a bunch of references. It gives you 20 most likely places you can go and read these places for yourself and then figure out your answer, right? It does not give you the straight answer. It asks you go and read 200 pages, figure out your answer. Now that can be also tedious, better than libraries, but still not a straightforward answer. I want straightforward answer. And you know what? Who is good at reading? Large language models. The generative AI is good at reading. So why should I read all these things? Why don't I outsource this work to the generative AI? I let the generative AI read all these things. I give it my question, generative AI goes and finds all these books from the library, or so-called internet, and then finds the most relevant content that is required to answer my question. It does all the reading and then gives me the answer. So that's the difference between Google and generative AI. This process is also called, retrieval augmented generation. This is RAG in short. Again, very technical term. No need to worry about it. I don't want to scare you guys with technical mumbo jumbo again, but I just wanted to point out this is the difference between Google search and generative AI. Using ChatGPT, you get the exact answer. You don't get references to 20 pages and you go read about it because if you ask a question about it will point you to the city website, and then you have to find the PDF, download that PDF, and read 200 pages of it, figure out one tiny answer that may or may not be there. It may be in very technical terms that you may not understand. I struggle with so many of those legal terms they use. I'm not sure what they are saying there. Should I do it? Can I do it? Can I not do it? What is the requirement? I have no idea. So sometimes those words that they use there is not meant for general people, general public. It's just there to to meet some compliance. Now, how do I translate it to my words? I pass that technical all those mumbo jumbos there, give it to a large language model, and tell me, hey, explain to me. It gives you all this. Maybe it gives you a very good answer, or maybe it gives you very difficult technical terms again that you didn't understand this time as well. Well, you can ask it again. Hey, can you explain it to me as if I am a fifth grader? Don't be shy. I use the fifth grader terms all the time, just to make sure that it doesn't talk to me as if I'm a lawyer, as if I'm a builder. It talks to me in the plain, normal English, and it explains to me with a bunch of more examples. Like you have two toys, and your friend has three toys. If your friend, doesn't want to share that one toy with you, this is what you do. So it explains to me beautiful, very low-level examples, and I understand the very difficult legal terminologies in very simple words. So now, imagine the power you have in your hand when you are able to understand all this technical or legal terminologies or legal mumbo jumbo, legal huge, 200 pages of, document that is not meant for you to understand. You are able to understand that in few words, few sentences, very simple language. That is power because you suddenly have information, and information is power, especially for business. How many times have you had to, go to a legal team or or a financial team or CBA or all these things because you had a very small question and you didn't know the answer. You did a Google search. Google gave you 20 references and you didn't know which reference is most reliable. What are they saying? This is very confusing to me. What is this space saying? I am still, I came with one question. Now I am living with 20 questions in your mind. And then you start questioning whether you are capable enough to even understand information. Right? That happens to me all the time. I read all these documents and like, oh, there must be something wrong with me. I am incapable of this, understanding this. But the problem is that they are just, they are simply meeting compliance so that they don't get sued. They have their own requirements. They have to write it in very technical language that will protect them in the code. But it's not meant for you and I to understand. This makes it so much easier. It gives you that power to understand all these difficult things. You have a question about licensing, permits. You can get the answer in 2 minutes in most simplistic words and well-defined answer. You don't have to read 200 pages. to get the answer. That's the power of generative AI. Oh, I think I was ahead of my slides here. I explained to you already, so what, why do I need it? That's why you need it, what I just spoke there. So how do I use it for small businesses? Now, there are so many things in small businesses which are common. So I'm going, before going into specific small businesses, I want to talk about how you're going to use, like, these are certain things that every small business need. For example, health and safety compliance. If you have a small business, you have employees, how do you meet these health and safety compliances? These things keep changing year after year, and you need to catch up with it. Unless you are, you are very well versed in all the new laws and regulations that are being passed in the House or Senate, and you keep an eye on all those things. You understand what the new law is, then you are good. But if you are not, if you are like me, who doesn't understand all those fancy new, uh, the bills and the laws, then yeah, you can use generative AI. It will capture the latest bills, latest information that is out there, and you get the most updated answer and in very well digested form. Okay? So health and safety compliance. Stay updated with the latest regulations. Then for every business, marketing and social media is very important. As the young kids will tell you, that's where most of the people get their news or information or business or marketing from. So how do I post, like if you have real estate business, right? Are you keeping up with all the social media handlings and all that? Yeah. Are you advertising yourself? See, so you are hiring somebody who's well versed with social media because you are worried that your language may not reach out to your intended uh, audience. So what do? You reach out to somebody who is younger than you. You don't have to anymore. You don't have to bribe them. That on the Christmas break, I'll give you an iPhone. Do this for me, I'll give you an iPhone on Thanksgiving. So you don't have to do anymore. You can go to Chat GPT and explain, this is my business. Can you create a social media post for me? If you create a social media post for Facebook, if you create another social media post for TikTok, it will give you instruction what you need to do to create a good social media post for TikTok or Instagram. Personally, I'm not familiar with any of it. It's a surprise. Like I am on Facebook, but I'm not active. Yes. Right. So the question is, how do we need to disclose generative use of it? And how do we do that? So social media posts, you don't need to disclose that the advertisement that created gives me a content that is no longer acquisition. Okay. Social media is filled with untrustworthy information, but you can use the generative AI to generate drafts of the things for you, and you can give your own flavor. Again, when you are prompting, you are giving your own flavor. Generative AI is taking your prompts, your business description, and rephrasing it. It's not building something out of nowhere. It is taking your information, your prompt, your ideas, how you want it, and then creating that for you. It gives you a draft, just like her relative is giving a draft. So when she's posting it to her relative, it's basically a draft that is being built that she has to approve, or she may choose not to approve it. Then you post it. It doesn't post it on your behalf, by the way. You need to copy that and then post it on the social media. So generative AI again. I was going to cover this. Generative AI, you are not supposed to, like, its intention is not to be used without a human. We are supposed to be the leader in that. We are supposed to be the pilot of that ship or plane, and the generative AI is supposed to be the co-pilot. Co-pilot job is like just for the law firm that you have a bunch of associates. Their job is to do all the documents that they're building right and all that. And then the boss of that law firm chooses, approves, corrects. So it's going at the end. At the end, boss of the law firm is responsible. The boss of the CPA firm is responsible for what goes out. But you use assistants, associates to create the drafts of the documents, do the reading of it. So that's what we are using generative AI for. Generative AI, the language model, is basically being your assistant that does all the dirty work, the hard work, and then you need to approve, you need to verify and approve or edit before sending it out.
Going back.
They usually just Right, yeah, and it is in place. This exact thing is in place for the publications. Even though few people were able to publish, things that was created by generative AI, and the papers have been retracted or banned. The research, the journals are taking steps to prohibit or to ban those researchers who use generative AI to create content for the research paper. It's banned. But in the world of advertising and marketing, it is not. It's fair to use generative AI generated content as long as you verify and approve the content that is being presented there. Because there is no requirement like a company, Apple creates advertisement, let's say. I don't think Steve Jobs ever verified any advertisements. There was a team of people who were creating the advertisement, right? So whenever they wanted to create an advertisement, it went to a third party company. They created the advertisement. Apple only verified or liked the idea. They gave their input, but they never created that advertisement themselves. Anyways, whenever they showed the advertisement on TV, they never mentioned the name of the company that created it. So in the world of advertisement and marketing, social media, you don't need to tell which company created the advertisement. You just need to approve it's coming from me. I approve this message kind of thing in the political world. They are not the ones who created that advertisement, but they put their name that I approve this message.
And we have no question. Not necessarily. I basically follow this Jones person. What I'm having issue with right now is if you're telling me and you see every day that artificial intelligence can take the voice and another person and give you some information. Now, whether or not I'm looking at your notes, and really I was looking at your notes, if you're actually saying this thing, it's being generated to say something else. So that's sort of like propaganda too, right? Why should I sit here and let you tell me that it's okay if I approve it, if it's already beyond that?
Fair enough, good question. Right. So yeah, in this political campaign and also this year, there have been some fake images, videos, and advertisements created by the generative AI. Right? And probably you've all seen it. Now there are ways to figure out how those are not real or fake. But at the end, it should be up to us to make our decision. Even if it is a real person, not created by generative AI, same rule applies. We need to use our own judgment because marketing or advertisement have always been like that. They have always been something that is not real. If you look at any advertisement that you see on TV, they don't represent exactly how a product looks like or what product makes you feel like. They are exaggeration. You and I don't get deceived by that most of the times. But that's the same judgment we have to use when it comes to generative, just like any other. So, yeah, our own judgment is most important thing there. There are certain ways to identify how images or videos are fake. For example, generative AI at this point, leave some glitches there in the image. For example, you will see 3 or 4 hands. Suddenly, out of a person, one hand is holding like this, while the other hand is in pocket on the left side. So you may find there are 2 hands on the left side. You will find that the left here and the right here pattern doesn't matches. There are small glitches here and there, which you fix very soon. So you may not be able to differentiate. But at that point, you have to use your own judgment. It's as good as any fake advertisement or marketing created by humans. That has been happening for since ever the TV was there, or even before that, the pamphlets. The what was that? Snake oil sales people, they used to create false advertisement as well.
General, general AI creates activity, like like behavior. So at some point, like create its own behaviors, like artists, create its own behaviors, like as like a child. If you teach a child to do something, the child starts to they start thinking kind of like these difficult behaviors, they kind of create more behaviors like that. So can general AI do that? Create
So,
more behaviors?
if I understand the question you asked me, this kind of is future, right?
Yeah.
We can develop its own consciousness. We can decide that humans are the humans' worst enemies and destroy us all, kind of thing. So again, I cannot tell what will happen in the future. But today there are generative AI, having the AI that exists is a beacon of that, we can just unplug it. So it's not there yet. You have to wait for another 50 years or so. I'm just assuming to get to the Skynet, and then it's somebody else's problem. Yeah, so then there, of course, there are governing what is there, steps to and make sure there are certain regulations. As soon as we have powerful tools, historically, whenever we have developed powerful technology, cars, trains, airplanes, everything didn't exist 500 years ago. There was no law against it. How the plane should be, how you should walk into the airport, and you cannot carry a weapon and all that. These law regulations. When we have new and powerful things coming into the existence. So generative is like similarly, AI governance is becoming a thing. Governments and governing bodies are taking steps to create these laws. But yeah, I mean, unless we have proper laws and proper restrictions in place, these things can happen. Far in the future. Yeah, kind of just talking about what you said. What are some preventive first thing, like what should we focus on, or is it like try to prevent that, or some level of preventive measures, I guess, for governments? For small businesses, and today you don't have to worry too much about it. Ethical council companies like this, all these companies that are generating this market, as well as the CSC, and they are laws. But this, it doesn't stop any villain. This X or Dr. Google or Amazon, how their own AI tools code that can, cause damage. But when it comes, the laws will, in place. I mean, if you look at the government is more reactionary, they were proactive, in these steps. So they have to see when this thing comes into existence and the laws will be brought in. Where am I working? Located. I live in Bolingbrook and I work at Aon Center here for Graphics company. Chicago, yes, Aon Center.
Yes, I have a question in regards to Chicago State University. Chicago State University has a business school. And there should be an effort at the business school in collaboration with the sciences department to have activities where entrepreneurs, this is the room full of business owners. Everyone in here is a business owner, is an entrepreneur, has a product or a service. But they are hiring and recruiting people to come into their organizations who hopefully would be using these skills to expand their marketing activities, just as you are employed in commercial areas, doing data science for the benefit of that employer to create strategies and solutions that will advance their profitability. All of these businesses in the room would benefit if Chicago State University was doing the same thing for us, both educating entrepreneurs and educating people who would work for entrepreneurs to bring generative AI into activities related to marketing, product development, operations, other areas of optimizing their business process. Are these kinds of conversations going on at Chicago State University today in terms of how they can not just create employees for businesses out of the community, but have a relationship with us who are in the community that also want to create jobs and prosperity and wealth within our communities through entrepreneurial endeavors?
Great question. And I will give it to Professor Tele and he can probably answer it better, but I know there is some conversation going on within Chicago State University faculty members where they are trying to integrate generative AI in all departments, every department, including education, business, schools, the criminal justice. They are trying to bring generative AI, how can we use it? 20 years ago, people were training, like there were programs training everybody, train everybody, make sure that everybody understands how to use Word, Microsoft Word, how to use Excel. That kind of initiative we need right now for the generative AI world as well. Even if you have access to ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude from Google, these are again some of the tools given by generative AI. But you find the proper use, how to use them to get that something that needs some training. And I did offer one course at Chicago State University, generative AI. Again, the process of including these things into a course is long and tedious. There's a lot of skill and but nonetheless, there is some initiative in this field, what you're talking about. I don't know if this was understood. I wanted to see if you can elaborate on, say, is it coding language or is it maybe sort of or exponential sort of learning process that generates data through, that if you understand it, you can sort of tweak it all. So, and then, good question. The question is, do we need to learn coding? So the programming language is a learning curve very steep, where you need to learn some, like how do you become a, let's say, GPT whisperer, right? It's like, how do you make it dance to your tune? What do you need to learn to do that, right? So there are different scales, different levels of it. One is the user, the end user. As an end user, you just need to speak to it as you would speak to another person. Not literally in terms of voice, but you need to type what you want to know. You type in English, there are models like ChatGPT and Bard, Gemini. You just type in English, it gives you answer in English. Very detailed answer. Right? Then on top of that, if you want to go further as a developer or the people who create these products, then you need to learn Python and C++ and AI, all the machine learning, natural language processing things. Those are very technical side of it. If you learn all that, then you create the product. But as a user, you just have to speak your mind to it. You don't need to learn any programming languages. There is no learning curve. All you need to remember is find the right context to answer the question. Find the right context so it knows what you ask. So I guess yeah, we are always keeping an eye on that. ChatGPT, the open company, is keeping an eye on what kind of questions you're asking, what kind of response the ChatGPT is giving you. And then they evaluate those responses, whether you are happy with the response or not. There is a thumbs up and thumbs down, but so if you're not happy with the response that it's giving you, just put a thumbs down. ChatGPT, the OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, takes a note of that, and they fix it in the next release, that it gives you more precise answer. Other questions?
Is it possible for AI to complete a task? So if there's like for soil sample the proper text, is there a way for text?
There are certain ways you can use generative AI to speed up the hacking process, but I wouldn't worry too much about it now. There are those big companies, they are taking care of all those, loopholes that allows generative AI to be used in a wrong way. But I wouldn't worry too much about it personally.
Before was it if I could use like ChatGPT to do that for me, or like I said, if I wanted to do a report system, right, and send out, say if I have a task for the employee to do, but instead of me going out to kill each employee to go do the task, it was like I create a system that sends out this, let's say if I put it for the input, and I automatically send it out, so let's say if I'm employee, and I have this system where I can send it to them.
Yeah, so your question is whether you could create a tool, software that can handle your employee management, right? Using ChatGPT, you want to create a software that can handle employee management. It can send in emails and information to these employees. That were the questions. So to create a tool itself is slightly difficult because you have to. That's basically a bigger job. You probably need a few people to do the code for you. ChatGPT maybe create this for you, but its answers are limited to a few hundred of lines. It's not going to create a whole system for you at this point. But using generative AI, yes, generative AI, you can use programming tools to build this product for you, but it still needs human intervention. You just don't type that I want to create this product and we create a product for you. It's a language model to begin with. It gives you answer. Answer it will give you a small code. That makes it answer. So we are not there yet. That we start asking to create a product for me, a software for me, and it just creates a product. Still a few months or years away from it. By the end of the year, OpenAI may release a product that does this exact thing, but we're not there yet.
I hope your presentation will include, let's say, how Generative Business Association either has resources or will be developing resources to implement the encouragement that you're giving us this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Those were my the next few slides. Yeah, we're going through very good questions and answers. These are very great questions.
Generally speaking, if it's not too early to tell, do you see that AI is widening the gap between competitors or limiting?
At this point, not every company is, has this generative AI building capabilities. So there are few companies which are leaders in this. For example, OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, and then Facebook, Meta. These companies have lead in this field, and they are basically the companies who don't have these product of their own. They are lagging behind, and it's creating a huge gap. NVIDIA, for example, was nowhere in the top there profitability big companies, and now it came back, but it's the more like the biggest company in the world, right? NVIDIA, it has overtaken Apple, it has gone past Microsoft, so it's the most valued company in the world, NVIDIA. Now you ask, what is NVIDIA? NVIDIA makes the hardware that is required in generative AI, not AI necessarily, but specifically generative AI. Generative AI requires very expensive gear, very expensive hardware called GPU, graphical processing unit, that was previously used for gaming. But NVIDIA was making these hardwares for gamers. And now suddenly people found that the same hardware is required for generative AI. And suddenly the demand was in trillions of dollars. Right now, NVIDIA is $3 trillion worth. They were gaming hardware company. Today they are the biggest company in the world because of generative AI.
Reaction. My concern is that at a certain point, it's going to develop personality. My image, something I don't want it to do on its own. So my concern is how do you control that emotion? That's what the first thing you put up there. You said, I love. Go to bed saying, I love my dog. Else that I now love, basically kind of starting to control me. I hope my question is
Right. Yeah, the race is on for being the best comprehensive generative AI model that is there. And in doing so, eroding some of these concerns, and that is in news, of course. But it has to come from us. It has to come from our push to prevent this kind of thing. So we vote. Our leaders take steps to make these into law, so that these companies who are ways to create their best or the best product, they are not violating some of the ethical At this point, the ethical guidelines are very thin, and we need to strengthen that again, from voter to leaders to the law. That's the process.
If it's okay, I think I'm asking along the lines of what he was asking about. Based on your experience and your knowledge, and kind of what you was mentioning as well, this gap between companies. Is there a method or is there something that possibly focused on that allows for open source in a way to allow the growth of AI to be way, actually based on.
So the big companies are developing generative AI products. They are offering it to you for free most of the time. If you want to use it, a much more advanced version of it, then you have to pay this very small fee. Again, using generative AI is mostly free. If you want to use, slightly higher services, want to scale it up, you want to, customize the generative AI for your need. In that case, you need to pay a small premium. Again, the cost is very small. It's not very expensive. They are leaders in the area of developing these products, but you are free to use it for your business.
So then is it the hardware that's making it, something you have to pay for? When you pay them for it, you pay for the hardware.
Right, hardware, electricity,
Yeah.
infrastructure, and their, to sustain their research and development, so they can continue developing this. But the fee is extremely cheap. I mean, to read an entire, let's say, PDF or a Word document of 200 pages, it may charge you maybe 10 cent, 20 cent.
Of course, we know that.
It may increase, but the trend has been downwards, by the way. As the GPUs are, the NVIDIA GPUs are becoming more powerful, more efficient. So the cost of operation is going to go down only, and the competitors, as more and more competitors come in the market, the cost is only going to go down. So as true with every e-service, software services, the cost typically goes down. So it's going to get cheaper.
Okay, last question. So how possible is it for a small business to start its own check?
It's fairly simple. Again, I'm speaking from my perspective because I do develop this kind of products. So you don't want to build an entire chat. If you want to develop a chatbot that does what ChatGPT does and some more on top, you can. Basically, every business has their own data, right? Let's say I run a business called Baker's Inc. My business does bakery, right? And it's a small, maybe it has a small factory where I create all the bakery items. I have 50 employees. I want to develop a chatbot for my company. If somebody goes and asks, what are the baking items I can buy from you? ChatGPT doesn't know what bakery does, or ChatGPT doesn't know how many employees are working at Baker's Inc. If one employee goes and asks how many days of vacation I can take, yes, how many days of vacation I can take, ChatGPT doesn't know this because this is something specific to your company. So ChatGPT or any generative model cannot answer this question, but it does have that information. What you can do is you can take the generative AI information and actually get out of it. So anytime somebody asks a question, it goes and puts into this data bank, information bank, all the PDFs and documents, PowerPoints, Excel, just attached to it. It goes and looks into this knowledge bank. Then looks for is there any answer to this question? Yes, answer based on this question is in the knowledge bank. If no, then take an answer to what I need. Okay, that's what small businesses can use it. If you want to go in beyond just a regular chat. Next question.
Yes.
Mhm. That's what I'm showing here on the slides. But yeah, as soon as we are done with the question, I'll go over there.
There was one more thing.
Mhm.
But like, it's, AI is able to like create patterns in behavior. Okay? So it's like, if you think about because laws are being created for it to do like, I would say like governing. So like, what about like, government? Where government came from? A lot of people think this or what different points, but like, has that ever been considered when the growth of AI? That's
So you were asking about bias and inclusion, the AI bias towards what community or religion. Does it have specific sense?
so it's like the opposite of that. So it's like not is inclusive, but it feels like it's like operating that way. So like you know, like how everybody so they're not so like from a human standpoint, how we all have hearts and minds. So can we so AI doesn't necessarily have our mind.
It has learned from us, so without explicitly telling it that you need to bias against that kind of people or this kind of people, it has read our documents, our books, our news, our and all the learning that it has done, all the text that it has read is our text. So if there's a bias in those stories, those books, those news, it has learned from that. So it doesn't have inherent bias, but our bias has gone into it. So that is in place today. That chat GPT and everything, the engine that drives it has that. But companies like Microsoft, OpenAI, they have put some guardrails around this beast that we call GPT. They have put some guardrails around it to prevent this kind of biased and say biased behavior. So if you were to ask any wrong question, biased question, it will refuse your answer.
So what about like so okay, you know I'm gonna use an example. So it's like say so it's a Christian, I'm a Christian, but let's say like so like the Old Testament, New Testament, right? The Old Testament, New Testament is the same, the law is the same, supposed to keep the same law, but it's the meaning behind the law. Like one in the Old Testament, it's not God. The New Testament is something what's the meaning behind it, as well or the. And so can they come to understand that
My understanding is that, my feeling that it will give you the both answers. This is the interpretation as the Old Testament, and this is the interpretation as the New Testament. So it will give you both answers, just to be unbiased. You should try it. It's fairly unbiased. Yeah, I mean, it tries to be unbiased, gives you all the perspective. You need to take your own decision. As I said again, this is the co-pilot. You are the pilot. You need to figure out what is that. Go to a barber shop, you meet 5 different type of people. They talk 5 different type of news. They have 5 different opinions. They're not be all same. You as a person need to be what you are accepting as a answer. Judgment is all yours. So, and then it's up to you to accept that answer as yes or no. If you don't like that particular answer, give the thumbs down. So open it goes. People are not liking this answer, they fix it.
Answer better question. Answer more than what you were asking. Absolutely. I can show you the demo. We'll go through the demonstration. After I explain some business examples, we'll do a lot of demos. Okay? You have to go through everybody's business and ask the question, and you'll be impressed, I promise.
How do you predict or know, that AI will affect data science or sales or?
Yeah, I do that here. So that's why I chose the sleeve, so that I know the zombie side of the sleeve. So zombie, apocalypse, apocalypse sounds. I want to do the zombie, I don't want to survive. It's safer there, I have heard. It's safer to be a zombie. Yeah, so, see, when hundreds, I don't know how long ago the computers and the calculators were invented, but let's say 50 years ago, calculators were invented. When the calculator came, before that, what was there? What was used to do math? How was the accounting done? So accounting was done on paper. People used to do this math. The brain. There were all these guys who were considered the most genius. If you could do add and subtract in your mind quickly, you were considered genius. The definition of genius was something else. But the calculator came, the world was going to end, right? The world was going to end because what will happen to all the jobs of people who were doing accounting on the paper? The world didn't end. They moved on to some other job. The calculators and computers haven't destroyed the world yet. It's true with everything. Like, when the cars came, what happened to the guy who was running their horse car? When the bridges were built, what happened to the guy who was ferrying people across the river? The technology always helps create more jobs. Because of the bridge, there was a lot more economy developed on both sides of the river. They were able to find jobs. So, adopting the latest technology, what you should focus on rather than your measure of data science or software. You shouldn't become a tool for your education. Education is merely a tool for you. Your strength is not, I have chosen data science or computer software engineer as my job, and that's what I'm going to be for the rest of my life. No, when you went to school, you learn how to learn things, how to ask questions, how to talk. That's what your strength is. So don't get confused between your major versus your actual skill, which is to learn. I can move to the next slide, I guess. Yeah, so I was covering this social media. That's where we stopped. So you can ask it to draft the social media post for you. You can specify I want to post it on Facebook. So there is a different type of verbiage that is used for Facebook versus Instagram versus Twitter. There's of course the word count limitations, the different type of icons that the emojis that are being used in different social media sites. So you can ask it to generate the content, the newsletter, the blogs, and the promotional material for different social media. You can also create new campaign idea, new marketing idea, like having a get together to for at your business, having some kind of fun events, having your business that advertises your business. People come there, they don't have to buy anything, but it's just a gathering that encourages people. It basically advertises your business that this business exists and this is what they do. So you can get this kind of ideas using from Chat GPT. I'm going to use Chat GPT and generative AI as synonyms. They are not exactly the same thing. ChatGPT is driven by generative AI. Generative AI is an engine, and ChatGPT is built around it. It's like a difference between an engine and a car. Engine is what drives the car, but there is seats and AC and steering and wheels and whatnot. So the bells and whistles is added to the engine to make a car. So ChatGPT is the car, and GPT or the generative AI is the engine. That's the difference. But I'm going to use them synonymously here. Then you can also get like financial advice. Hey, I have this much budget. This is my store. This is my business, and I have $50,000 loan that I got from bank. This is my staff. This is my inventory. Can you give me an idea? What should I do? This is pattern. And you can create different scenarios. Like, the first one, this is what you should do. This is how much you would spend on these items. Second one, you can draft all the financial plan. Now, is it good to go second? Of course not. Because it's not really a financial advisor. They mentioned it's a co-pilot. You need, if you go to a 10 different financial advisor, they will give you 10 different ideas. How do you know which one is right? Same thing, same judgment, you must have. You need to make sure that it makes sense, that this can make sense. If it doesn't, you can ask, are you sure the plan for the person is good enough? Are you sure that actually spending this much considering this is not a offer right now? I tried this, it hasn't worked in the past. My friend has tried this, it hasn't worked in the past. Are you sure this is a good idea? It will be exactly the plan that is created and give you a new plan. Keep iterating with it, it will make sense that it's right for your business. So whatever question you have in mind about your business, or even the question doesn't exist in mind, right? Just go to chat in your business and ask for ideas. It gives you some random ideas, then you start asking more and more detailed questions. Don't be shy. Don't end the conversation like, hey, I got this answer, I didn't like it. It was okay. It was not practical. Challenge it. Ask more questions. Have conversation. It will give you, eventually it will give you an answer that you will. Even if you don't have the questions, you will get the ideas about the question by looking at the answer that you see. Okay? So don't buy immediately what ChatGPT is telling you. You are the subject matter expert. You know your business. You know the field. Use your own judgment. Guide it. Use your business acumen. Guide it to the answer that you're looking for. Some more thing, like you can do a brand development project with it as well. You can create, it can help you creating a stronger brand identity. You can ask it to create logos and pamphlets that will, help you advertise your product better on the social media or, wherever you want to. As well. You can use it for problem solving as well. You have a problem with your business, staff issues or inventory issues or sales are not profit. You want an idea. These are the 5 items I sell in my store or my business. These are the 5 services I offer. These particular services or items, products are not profitable, but the other 2 are. What should I do to bring all of these profitable, or should I continue selling these items or offering the services because they are, causing an overhead which I'm not able to afford at this part. So it can give you all these scenarios what you should do. Even if there's not an answer, it will create a, it will ignite a spark in your head, and you will be able to, get different opinion. It's just like asking your other business buddies. It will basically ignite, it will make you think, even if it is not giving you the right answer. So this is a great place where you can actually be confident in the business. All the questions you have from me, you can ask these questions from ChatGPT. Okay, and it will give you a better answer than I am right now. So, you ask Google, it will give you a bunch of links. You go and read all those things, and you figure out what you not figure out right answer. But ChatGPT give you much more human language. And I want to reiterate: if you don't understand the language that ChatGPT is using, you don't understand the verbiages, Ask it to explain to you as a fifth grader, sixth grader, 10th grader. Don't be shy about that. Nobody is going to watch you and judge you like, hey, your question was a fifth grade question. And there's no shame in that. I have used fifth grade, thing all, so many times, fifth times. Okay, I want to give an example of, a restaurant and cafe business. How can a restaurant or cafe business use generative AI? You can associate with whatever business you have. I'll give you 4 or 5 examples, and you can see how businesses can use generative AI or ChatGPT in this case. So it can be used to create a generate content, basically social media post. You can use it to generate a very beautiful description of all the items you have on menu. Remember, if you go to a restaurant and you see the menu, the items are described in, sometimes the description is so beautiful that you know this food, but you still want to try it all over again because the description looks so like, you cannot stop yourself, right? The simple mac and cheese could be described in such a beautiful verbiage that you do want to eat mac and cheese at that point. So you may or may not be able to write the beautiful description. Ask ChatGPT to write it for you. Write the beautiful description that will be like, so enticing to your customers. They will most likely order 5 items, even if they can eat 1 or 2 only. So it can be used for, menu description, customer reviews. You have online portal or you have Google, like people are leaving reviews for you. Google, business space. You can review all this, you can feed all these reviews to the chat GPT and say, this is the review left by. What are the if you have 200 reviews, who's going to read through all that? You may be able to read through all that, but you're not able to comprehend everything that they're asking for. What is missing piece? What should I do to improve my service? Feed all the 200 reviews to the GPT. And then you ask them, what should I do to improve my ratings? What are the biggest complaints? Where should I go? Yes. Not download, it's chat.com. You can go and it's a web app, so it's not a mobile phone app yet. I believe it's not. They may have they have okay. They have an app as well on the phone. You can download it. All right, so then you have compliance and safety questions because if you're running a restaurant business, there's a lot of certification that you have to get from the local government. So what certifications, what safety regulations you have to meet, you can have all those things taken care of. This is an example of a grocery store, how we use. By the way, these images are all generated by ChatGPT. These are not real images that you see on the screen. These are all generated by the AI. All I asked was, I asked you to generate this image of this is the description. I want to see a grocery store owner using ChatGPT to run their business. This is what it generated.
Did you ask it to go to a certain resource about that ingredients like GPT, for example? I asked it to give me information from a certain book or a certain set of books.
If the book has been used to train the ChatGPT, yes, it might give you answer, but you cannot use it for newspaper. For example, the New York Times is a big news. It's a big service, right? So you cannot ask like, tell me what is the news, what is the news headline from New York and.com or get me this article. But you can ask from Harry Potter, what was the big book, 7th page. I haven't tried it, but it may be able to do that because most likely Harry Potter books were also used in the training of GPT model. So it can answer for any characters from the Harry Potter, or any other books was used. You can, for example, for a grocery store, you can, if people are asking you online questions, you can answer their questions. You can phrase your answer response better so that it doesn't look very rude. It looks very polite to the customers when you are replying to emails and online questions asked. You can also use it for your product the inventory management, like what products are there, create the descriptions of all the product. Again, beautiful descriptions. You're selling onions, but you're describing it like as if there's it's selling golden eggs or something. Again, marketing, right? How you describe your product sometimes catch customers' attention, and it's all about building loyalty, right? It's building a following. Maybe your description was so good that the customers are able to connect with the product. It doesn't need to be false advertisement, but it needs to be something that gets their attention. They are able to relate to the product that you are selling. It will not happen if you don't write any description, because this writing description can be tedious. Outsource it to the chat GPT. It writes the question like, you give your personality. This is what I believe this product is. When I'm selling this product, this is what I believe. And create that beautiful description based on your personality and put it on your online portal or maybe in Packet or wherever. And then people who are reading it, they may be able to connect with it. They may be able to see that this is what I feel when I go to buy this product. That's how you build loyalty. And those customers will come, irrespective of the financial upturn or downturn. They are your lifetime customers, lifelong customers. You can use it to create recipe suggestion based on few ingredients. You pass on that I have onion, tomato, and rice, and potatoes. What you can make? It will give you a bunch of recipes. These are the items you can make from it, and which one do you like? You tell them that I would like to make this item, and gives you a step by step process that. So you can create some product like this for your customers who would be very interested in seeing that. I want make this item for my guests coming on Thanksgiving. What are the items I should buy? So you create the list for your customers, and they can go and buy it from your grocery store. So you can build product like this and make it available to the customers. So it's something that they don't have to figure out what are the ingredients, but rather they come and ask the question, this is what I plan to put on the table, and what should I buy from your store? It points out this is oil, this is how many pounds or how many ounces of this item you need to buy. And it's very easy for them to connect and buy items from your store. Real estate management, property management. You can create compelling, very compelling and detailed description of all the property that you have in your listing. You can generate marketing. Basically, you can do market research, like what area is selling, what area is not selling, what is the trend, what kind of rooms and buildings and architecture people are looking at nowadays. So you can, basically find those listings. You can also create a newsletter from all the properties you have. You are trying to sell or rent. You can create all the newsletter from it and then pass it to your clients. And yeah, you can you can ask ChatGPT. You write your email in your language, and then ask it to rephrase it better, but maintain my language. Just say that in my original language, rewrite this email. So you can write it much politer, remove all the negative tones and things that you may not realize, add some polite things to it, and fix your spellings and everything, but maintain the original language. And then you send that email to them. Always. So do not automate this thing. It's not automated. ChatGPT is a page or an app. It generates the content for you. You need to copy paste. So before copying and pasting, read it. If you like it, then you can copy paste or copy paste and edit it. You can ask him to regenerate, like, this is not what I meant. I meant this. So it regenerates the answer.
And so, my question is, so when you say create newspapers, will that generate, newspapers of like, when our company, been doing in the city of Chicago, create a folio, will it do that as well?
So I didn't mean that it creates a newspaper, I mean newsletter. So then you need to still give it, the topics that you want to cover in the newsletter. So still, I wouldn't rely 100% on ChatGPT to create news because news is latest. News is new, something that doesn't exist already. So I have to give input. Like this is what happened today. These are the 5 things that happened today, or this is the 5 things that happened last week. Create a newsletter or news article for 5 news articles for each. And then it will write you the content for it. You may give it this much and it may, exaggerate that. You can ask it to write a news like a sensational news article for leaves falling from a tree. A leaf that has just fallen from a tree, which is kind of dense, and it will write 200 lines of a news article sensationalizing how amazing the event was, how the took investor then we talked about it for a second before and afterwards, right? And then the whole process was amazing. The sun was hitting the leaf on the backside first. So it can create a whole article about nothing. You can ask it to write 100 line article about nothing. This exact problem, write 100 line news about nothing. And it will write there that and you have proper word, what is the grammar and everything. And you look at like, what is it talking about? And at the end, it will sound like you're supposed to put it in a speech, and you just don't know what are they talking about. Or CEOs, when the company CEO talk about some things, right? You have no idea what they're saying. They're saying things which make sense, but there is no need to. And that's, we can write that as well. So yes, it can take small things. Yeah, that is creativity, hallucination. Right? So that is not a fact, that is hallucination. So it can be creative. Okay. The next slide. So, I would recommend, exploring the use of generative AI in art and design, creating, the content creation that we mentioned, write an article about leaf falling from a tree. You can use it for healthcare. Like you can describe also GPT, which is specifically made for public consumption. And the tune so that you can answer user's question, the problem user question. But generally, I can tune for different, this specific field as well. You can tune, again, this is a broader example, this is not for small businesses, but you can create a fine-tuned version of GPT that is specific for healthcare, for restaurants, for, automation, gaming. So it can be trained, it can be tuned to meet that specific requirement for a business. And whatever question you ask, it's going to be an expert in that area. So, the applications are vast. Whatever your interest is, you choose that area and you can use ChatGPT or sorry, the generative AI to full potential in that field if you train it well. So, what now? We have talked so much about generative AI, what it can do, how can we use it? What should I do now forward? So, the future of our work, as I was talking about, if people who were doing ferry, their job disappeared, and the calculators came, the accountants who use the calculators survive, accountants who do not use calculators, they have to work on something else. Same thing applies to generative AI. The doctors, or the lawyers, or the accountants, or the business owners who
use ChatGPT or who use AI and generative AI to have knowledge and the world where we have this knowledge, unfortunately, people who
are going to not, like you choose not to use power of internet, generative AI in general, are going to lag behind, right? But there are always exceptions, people see it as always something that helps you in the business. But you are basically using some ground. If you do not use generative AI, what advantage I would encourage you to think, how do I use generative AI for my business? No question is out of scope for this. You can ask any kind of pettiest question that you can think of, smallest question. You don't think this question is even something that I want to know the answer for. I'll go ahead and ask. Gives you some big answer. Then you read through that, like, I don't think this is true. Go and ask, like, are you sure this is how it should be done? Give you an answer. It's a conversation between two intelligent business owners going back and forth. How many times have you thought that it would be better if I spoke to other business owners and get their perspective? Consider generative AI as your other business owner partner who can you can talk to and put your perspective, get the perspective back from it. Then you have better reflection on your ideas. Maybe you are doing things which were perfectly all right. Maybe you are missing one ingredient that you never considered, and that was the key to jumpstart your second phase of your business. There, again, in future we would need to realign our skills, realign our educational curriculum, and how do we train people in generative AI, how do we basically use generative AI. At this point, we are not building generative AI product for the people. We need to be good at using Google. Nobody is using Google here, but we are all using Google on there. So let's not think about too much about building all search engines, Googles and Yahoo's and Microsoft. Let's think about what product they have built and how do we use it. So our training should be focused on that, for it to be scalable and for it to be available to masses. Again, co-pilot. I want to emphasize the word co-pilot here. Co-pilot means you don't leave the plane to the co-pilot and then you just go and enjoy snacks and drinks. You still need to be around. Co-pilot is only going to help you to some extent. Co-pilot is do all your duties, like the tasks and works, like the things that takes a lot of time. But at the end, when the critical decision time comes, pilot has to be there. Pilot must be there to make all the critical decisions, approve all those decisions that are made by co-pilot. So you need to be the pilot before posting it on social media. Make sure that what content was created by generative AI, right? Before getting the legal advice from generative AI, financial advice, make sure that it makes financial sense. You are the subject matter expert. Just a bunch of, it has read a bunch of books. It's generative based on that, but it may make mistakes. It may have to fit. We need to be in charge there. All right. If you guys have other questions, go ahead and ask. Otherwise, I wanted to demo some of the ChatGPT capabilities if you have time.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. So, what was the question? Go ahead. Yes, it will be. What was the question you had about the cleaning? So, oh, I'm not sharing. Yes, I'm sharing the entire screen. Should be available. Okay. I'll say I own a cleaning business. Now, what else do you want to write? So I started here with I own a cleaning business.
Yes.
So what should I add here more?
Or since you said competitive is your weakness, why don't you put in how should I be more competitive? Right, and that was my second question. Cause the bottom line is, every business has the positive number has to come forward. Yeah. You know, you gotta figure out how do you break yourselves out from, one of the things I like about this is that you're adding this to your team. I mean, I'm glad this won't put CBA out of business, cause the demand for business growth and development strategy is important. You gotta know what you're gonna do your first, second, or third month, but the number one thing is, out of everybody in the group, I'm living in Chatham, where my business is located in this zip code. Competitive edge is going green. Is that gonna make me better? Things like that. And from there, we can drive how much labor you can afford, the labor is here, you know, to get those other questions.
Does this?
I can't see that.
Let's see if I can zoom this out. All right, let's see if we get any answer back. Again, the website name is chatgpt.com. And there is a box at the bottom of it. That's where you ask your question. If I like the question, I will do a thumbs up or thumbs down based on the question I like, dislike. So you see here, these are the answers, or these are the interview questions. It's asking you, what inspired you to pursue a career in the cleaning industry? Can you describe a time when you went above and beyond to ensure client satisfaction? How do you stay motivated during repetitive tasks? So, just go over these answers and see if it makes sense to you. Will it help you find the candidate who is passionate about the job?
Whereas it might take you forever to go look at questions on your own.
You know, the question they asked is called prompt. They type in the box there, question, the prompt. And the way you place the prompt is key. It's like this. And it's called prompt engineering. It's very basic of prompt engineering. Like a year ago, prompt engineers will pay around $350,000 in secret time to do this job.
And based upon that person's answer, or like if I wanted to generate what that person sounds like, I can put that in there, say, this is the candidate based on. Yeah.
So, you know what? For hiring in the company, I was getting a product where you can actually put in like, when you advertise for a job, you get hundreds of resumes. And 50 resumes. You don't need to read all the resumes and find out what this candidate. You may only 2 or 3 candidates from all the resumes you're getting. So you have a job description, you get 50 resumes. How do I know? Which of the 5 best candidates I should send to the company? You can see all the resumes and the job description and tell, give me the 5 best candidates and based on the job description items that I put in there, what are the job requirements, and look at the resume and tell me who fits best. It leads to all the job description, all the resumes, compare those profiles with the job description. It gives
this person has this many experience, this many years of experience, this area. This person has experience in this area, meets this education requirement. This person doesn't meet the education requirement. This person is not, his job is not having a job or a good job. So this kind of gives you all this answer to the question. And the question answer. Give me a summary of it. Give me the fitness score, match the score of this. The same for the second and third. Look at the summary, then you can compare them. Much better. Who else had any other?
Bruce had one.
Yeah.
Still have to recognize that, are you voting for discrimination? Or are you willing to make a choice on some X factors by things that you choose to make a good candidate? Have you ever taken a chance on a candidate that didn't have all the right success factors, but ultimately turned out to be your best employee because of the chance that they were given to be an employee in your activity? So there is there is two sides to this story. Yes, automation has value. Yes, ChatGPT has value, but you are still the one that's in the driver's seat if you choose to be. Now, if you don't choose to be, you're voting for discrimination that you claim is keeping you out of the picture that you want to be in. So people have to own up to their role in the process, because right now, all major employers are using platforms like Indeed. Indeed has a standard algorithm that's kicking a lot of people out. It's kicking your butt to the curb. So if you want to support that activity, go ahead. But there is a role that human beings have in determining the value, and also the real leverage point for small and medium-sized businesses is we have data that other people don't have. Are we going to interrogate our data to get insights to make decisions that will optimize our business and service to our customers? Because along with all of this generative AI in the open space, work that people are doing on private data that only they have is where real opportunities are going to be created, because you don't have access to that data and they do. And if you're freely giving up your data, as you do every day when you use social media for no good reason other than to scroll and swipe, you're populating data sets that allow people to determine what will get your attention away from the job you should be on. And that is, how can I add value to the delivery of my product and service to run a profitable business that can employ people and make a difference in my community and the lives of the people that I serve? So you already have the skill sets to be a prompt engineer. Oh, really? Give me a break. You speak English. You can ask questions. Are you inquisitive? Do you really want to know something, or don't you? So this is a leveler of the playing field. This is democratizing technology. And right now, as the presenter says, there's no toll booth. But believe you me, the toll booth is coming.
Great points. Yeah. So for the first point, yes, we have to be the audit, whatever the valuation. But for this, is again a language model-based valuation. AI-based evaluation. It's an assistant to you. It's not. You shouldn't use it to replace your judgment. You should use it to guide you because more informed decision. You shouldn't. The second point about giving chance for the candidate. We all always do at times, and they don't know the best idea. Here it comes to the subject matter expert. Whenever somebody is building a product, they are always liable to lawsuits if they have slightest of the discriminations written to the product. And the companies go to departments to actually, make sure that, the discrimination part is having their guardians against you. So even, for compliance, for example, if you have looked at, there are no degree requirements anymore in any job. They do not put any degree requirements. They do not put any, number of years of experience in certain area. So the requirement is you should have experience in this area. They don't put the number of years. Don't put any. Companies are taking practical steps to make sure that they're finding that one candidate who does not necessarily meet all the
Requirements, you have a feeling about that candidate. So just having that kind of job description itself will help you identify that. Companies are making some proactive steps in this. I don't think it was a better question.
No, that was it, and that is right. You know, one of the things he said, and Bruce mentioned it again, you can use this as a tool, but bounce it off other people, bounce it off CBA, so we can help you determine, we can identify maybe where the technology has helped you, but maybe it's not helping you understand your work in the community and how you, which is also why it generates newsletters and stories so that you can tell your story. This is the kind of company I want, people who are motivated. This is more than a job. So what it'll allow you to do, it takes a long time to do when you're a business owner, because you're chief executive in charge of everything, right? You got to do the questions. You got to tell the story. You got to do social media. You got to get to the people out here doing the contract to let you know who you are. What I can see is this can be a platform to help you do that and cut down the time tremendously, because we've all been, as entrepreneurs, at our computer and you're stuck. You know, you want to say, you know what you're trying to do, you're doing certifications, but yet projects are coming in your community, in the area. How do you tell the railroads that I'm an exterminator right here in Inglewood, you're doing a big project here, and I've been here for years, you need to, I am your access to hiring locally people that you can't hire directly, and meanwhile giving them some workforce development skills. So part of it is asking the questions, part of it is telling your story. You heard, you know, for any federal contract, we just did the CFP, you gotta have a capability statement. Those things can, it seems like this can be a part of your team to help you generate those things. And as you know, it takes a long time to get that. Sometimes you can spend a lot of money. We have businesses come on the consultations and they got these marketing, these huge contracts. All of those are negative numbers where we got to figure out what is the contract going to be, where do you start, how do you do it to get your plan in place. So I think the most important thing to remember, it is the tool that you use, not a tool that uses you. So we didn't learn anything else today. It is also, you know, this AI thing that almost sounded like it was, it has been driven by a person somewhere, form or fashion. That piece of knowledge helps us tell if something's wrong, that at least we know there is a person behind it. We just have to do the research. But more importantly, as Bruce and everybody is, while we have access to it, let's start using it. And the more you use a tool, the more you begin to understand when people, if an event, it comes where they're using it against us, right? Because you're in it and not on the sideline when it's already boomed and trying to figure out what happened. So that's the important things we sort of want to take away. You know, remind you of, all of us have this on our phone, when you start dictating something, a text, and then your phone kicks in and tries to help you, and you read it and it's like, that is not what I said. I think it's sort of the same thing. You put it in there, and if it is not your voice, if it is not your message, if it is not your story, help it generate it, correct it. But what it will do is, you know, for us as an organization, and I applaud Jennifer for having insight, the demand is great. Sometimes you call us and ask us questions. Well, it's only a few of us, and we try and get it together, but this could help you sort of get that going to make our consultations with you better and more in depth, and take your growth and development plan to the next level. Again, it is a technology tool, because when you run a business, if you try and do it alone, I feel sorry for you. But again, bringing these resources and tools, you can add it to your arsenal, and together with everything going on in Illinois, and there are billions of dollars out here. It'll help us elevate our game as a small business. Does that make sense? So having said that, I want to thank Mr. Thanks for the presentation. To thank Jennifer for bringing it to you. And now we just need to figure out how to work together and get this done. And Bruce, we always appreciate your comments, because, you know, your heart, your pulse on the small business community and what we need is always important. We appreciate that. Okay. Yeah.